Hey, what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it. What if Nuss wakes up feeling dangerous tomorrow? Let's be clear on the Nussmeier front. He is the reason why I think that LSU wins this game. And honestly, it's probably why. I mean, LSU's still a pretty heavy favorite spread-wise, right? Is it over 7? Maybe right under 7?
It did go down. I don't know if it went back up, T-Bob. I know it went down to under a touchdown, but I don't know if it went back up.
It's still around a touchdown on the road, right?
Yeah.
Which we know adjusting for road means it's almost double digits. So, like, you're like, okay, well, if T-Bob's being such a coward about LSU, how is Vegas so confident? And I just have to point to Nuss versus Sellers, right? So if Nuss wakes up feeling dangerous tomorrow, hell yeah, good. I hope so. He's going to be waking up early, and you got to be locked in early as well. Although it's the advantage LSU that this game's at 11, and you don't have to deal with that stadium at night. In terms of Brian Kelly being too transparent with the media, let's hear what Kelly had to say, and then we can get into it. Here is Kelly 1 on how they're going to use Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins.
Look, they all have to play, right? I mean, so we have to be able to be creative with our defensive structure. And, Blake understands that, and that's a good thing for us, right? I mean, I think we understand that we've got some position flexibility. Whit's played some Mike linebacker. Harold's played Will. He's played some Sam. So we've got great flexibility with both those guys.
Let's go to Kelly 3. This is could you see Weeks, Pitt, and Perkins on the field at the same time?
Yeah, especially teams that are playing, a much more look, and you saw it against Nicholls State, right? A run first kind of offense where the quarterback, is central to the run game. You can see a lot more 3 linebacker sets.
So there's some extended, there's some, hold on. How about this? Do we have, I think Kelly 8, maybe what I'm looking for here, Alondra. I'm looking for the answer where he basically gets into kind of deciding run versus pass and how many guys. Yeah. Okay. Here's Kelly 8.
I've answered this question a lot. And look, let me be clear. There are times you have to run the ball with extra hats, right? The guy that's the running back gets a scholarship, and he's got to make a guy miss here, sooner or later too. So I don't want to paint the picture that we're never going to run the box with 7 guys. But if it's clear that you're going to get man coverage and they are committed to that, then there are better alternatives for us. But we're certainly going to look at trying to find a way that we can get the kind of balance where they have to respect everything that we do. And look, there are some games that you just don't need to do that because you can exploit matchups, and then there are some you got to run the ball in there regardless. And I just don't want to paint a picture that, well, we're never going to run the ball unless the numbers are exactly right. That's not true. But we are going to be tactically smart about what we do. And if we get a tactical advantage relative to those numbers, one way or the other, we're going to lean towards that.
I've done a bad job of driving this segment, but that was a quote right there that I feel like the original question from chat is getting at, right? Is Brian Kelly giving away too much with that answer? I'm going to say no, because that answer is simply just basic football, right? I mean, there's nothing really revealing about that answer. He is just saying what every offensive philosophy in the world is. He's just wrapping it up and, with some well-delivered language, some tactical advantages and whatnot. But I mean, even back in the Stone Ages of, our day, yeah, man, all those RPOs, if we have this many in the box, or even if you're checking to play to one side or the other, right? You just split down the middle, how many are here, how many are there? It's all just basic football. I think by far, Jake, the most interesting part of that answer was the little bit of frustration shown with the running backs there, which have proved to be, we thought they were arguably a weakness. We were hoping they were not. Maybe John Emery looked like he was going to save the group, but they're definitely feeling like a weakness through 2 weeks.
Yeah, T-Bob. I mean, that was definitely, hey, y'all need to pick it up as well. Because here's the deal. And he mentioned, like, hey, their own scholarship too. Man, you're playing in the SEC. It's never going to be like, oh my gosh, look at that gaping hole. Like, you might get, 3-4 of those a year. Oftentimes, you're going to have to make somebody miss. You're going to have to run somebody over. You're going to have to stiff arm somebody to the ground, spin move, whatever it is, because there's going to be somebody. Somebody is going to come unblocked. Somebody's going to come free. They, get paid to play. Well, used to say the coaches get paid to call. Everybody now gets paid to play defense in college football. You have got to be able to go out there and get more than the play gives you. I can't, maybe twice so far that there's been a running back that goes out there and gets more than the play's blocked up for. Like, that's got to go way up.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have, the ability to get to the second level if you make that ability. Like, you have to just read your keys better. I think you've got to play faster. You can't think. Like, you've got to have a feel for it. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to, in my brain, think of a running play where a running back has made someone miss this year and gotten to the second level.
It's the Emory third quarter. That's really it.
And you know why John was able to hit that 50-plus yarder is because he read his keys. He was full speed in reading those keys, and it was a gap scheme run that he went right where he was supposed to, full speed, and broke like 2 or 3 arm tackles as he got to the second level, and then he pulls away. Like, that's what we're not seeing right now. And I've had so many questions on the street. Hey, why are we not using this guy? Why are we not? They're using him. It just hasn't been effective, and that's on everybody. Like, sure, we could talk about the tight ends and how they need to continue to get better in the run blocking. We could talk about the offensive line getting more push.
Yeah.
But also, like BK said there, the running backs are on scholarship. They're a part of it. Like, you making someone miss or you breaking a tackle and you reading your keys and doing it full speed, like, that's a part of the run game as well. Like, it's a well-oiled machine when you run the ball well.
Yeah.
And right now, that's just not the case.
So that's something to certainly look for on Saturday. Again, I think this team's going to be pass first, but you got to hope. And it's what I said last week as well. I'm not saying that I need you to overly. I just need you to keep working the run, right? You can get better there. The offensive line has the talent to block better. The tight ends should get better with more time on task. The backs should get more comfortable with more actual in-game reps. So while you'll still be majority pass, here's to hoping. And look, and I think from a game plan standpoint, South Carolina should force you to. We talked about it yesterday. I would prioritize coverage, drop 8 or, drop 8. But, prioritize coverage and make LSU prove that they can beat that good D-line and front 7 on the ground and then adjust therein if I'm the Gamecocks. So some of the most interesting part of yesterday's press conference, besides that answer on the offense, was going back to Weeks and Perkins. And really, it all starts with Whit Weeks. As Brian Kelly said, look, Whit Weeks cannot be a platoon player. Like, you have to have the guys who are playing the best football on the field as much as possible. And then he goes in to talk about having, like we heard, Perkins, Weeks, and Penn on the field at the same time. And I think you could take this a couple of different ways, right? Because some reporting, Perkins going to be playing the star position. Others I've seen like, LSU's going to play a 4-3 more. Brian Kelly said LSU's going to play 4-3 more. But like, I listened to the little press conference. He never actually used those words. And functionally, Jake, I mean, I don't know. What do I like? I don't know. I need to put 4-3, 4-2-5 kind of labels on it. I'm expecting 4 down linemen. I'm expecting Weeks and Penn in there. And then I expect Perkins to be used as, if you want to call him a will, and it's like a traditional 4-3, or is he the star, basically the nickel, and like a 4-2-5, right? Whatever it is, it does feel like that's the best way to get your best guys on the field all at the same time.
Yeah, we talked about that room being a strength of this LSU team, right? You had a lot of really good linebackers that had different skill sets, and it was really the only place on defense that you felt good about going into the season as far as, okay, I know they've got playmakers in that room. And so a lot of times you're going to have two of those guys on the field. Well, how do I get more of those Jimmys and Joes on the field? How do I, create a package where we can be really good with all three of those guys out there? Because, there's been some things that we've all seen on film where it's like, man, Harold Perkins, not his natural position. What can you do with him? Because we know he's talented. Okay, well, let's put him back in the star position, which is kind of like he played last year, the nickel Sam position. And then that's where you get creative off of that. Just because he's playing star doesn't mean he's going to be covering all the time. It just means that's where he's going to align, in which he was really good in coverage last year. And then you can start to get creative. Look, as a running back, I say this all the time, like when you can create a mismatch like that makes me think more. That slows me down a little bit, because if I look out there and number 7 might come off the edge, I've got to slow myself down. I can't get out into my route as fast as I normally would. Like, those are things that you have to think about. And so you can't take Whit Weeks off the field. He's a different speed. Yeah. He plays faster than anybody else out there. He sees the play faster than anybody out there. He's the most aggressive linebacker that you have. He uses his hands better than everybody else, okay? Is he a perfect linebacker? No, but he's continuing to get better each and every week, and he needs more reps. He needs to be out there. Last week, Greg Penn on tape, like, he was kind of, somebody that was right there in the middle, and when Nichols tried to go power run game, he at least was somebody that was stopping it where it was in front of him. He didn't get drove back 3-4 yards. He led the team in tackles. Okay, so you want him out there. It makes all the sense in the world, T, to have all three of those guys out there, and that's on everyone to create whatever the best package is for those three guys to be out there. Well, Whit and Greg aren't going to play the star, right? I mean, that's not a position that they can play. Perkins can play that, and so put him there. And then again, going back to the original point, that's where you get creative. It doesn't mean he has to just drop back and play coverage. It doesn't mean he's going to be in the flats, and just sit out there and wait. Will there be some of that? Yeah. But also, he can still wreak havoc off the edge if you have that in the game plan.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.